This is the exact Sidemen transition you've seen in their videos, and we are recreating it in After Effects and then turning it into a reusable template in Premiere Pro. It looks super clean, super unique, like something complicated, but it's actually insanely simple to build. I started watching more Sidemen recently and was surprised by how much production value it adds and how fast it is to make. But what makes this transition feel so smooth isn't the animation. It's one small detail people completely miss, and if you skip it, it won't look right. So let's take a look at this transition and break it down. So this is the beginning of the transition where we have two parts of the transition kind of slide from the sides, and then it reveals your logo with a couple of other stuff happening on the screen. It's important to pay attention that their logo and then the hearts that are floating on the screen, it looks like it is distorted as if we're using a wide lens, but it's actually super easy to do with like one click in After Effects, and then the transition disappears. So let's just go ahead and replicate it. I'm going to open After Effects, create new composition 1920 by 1080, 30 frames, and click on OK. The first thing we need to do is we need to write Sidemen on the screen. Select it, press Command, and double click on this button here to center the anchor point right here. Then using the Align tool, if you don't have it, go into Window and Align. I'm going to put it right in the middle. Let's actually make it a little bit smaller because I think it's a little bit too big. Once again, center the anchor point and then put it right in the middle. In terms of the font, we can customize the font to whatever we want. In this case, I'm going to use SF Pro. It's the same font that Apple uses, and let's make it medium, put it right in the middle. Now I'm also going to press on Command Y to create a solid. It's going to be our background. In this case, it's just going to be white, and I'm going to drag it to the bottom. The next thing you have to do is to download a free plugin called Saber. It's by Video Copilot, and I also recommend you to download their FX console, which is going to allow you to search for effects with just a click of a button. It's super easy to do. It takes like a couple of minutes. The links are going to be in the description. And once you have it installed, we need to create another solid. So I'm going to press on Command Y, and let's call it Saber, because this is going to be our Saber effect. And then I'm going to search for a Saber effect using the FX console. From here, we need to go into Customize Core, Saber, let's put it to text layer, and here we need to select our Sidemen. And there you go, we already have it going. Now from here, from the preset, we can customize what it looks like. We can set it to something like a fog or fractal, or something like let's put a fire. If we let it play, it's actually going to really play and work. We're going to have some fire on the screen. And then we can customize it further by, let's say, decreasing the intensity glow and so on. But in this case, let's go ahead and explore the fog one. We also need to go into render settings, and in the composite settings, we need to set it to transparent so that it is transparent. Now let's just compare what it looks like. So this is what they have, and this is what we have. So they have their specific font and they have specific colors. It doesn't really matter, because in order to customize this, you just have to play around, and then you can customize it to your liking. So you can put any kind of font, anything here. In this case, I'd actually would like to go with fire because I like the way it looks. I'm going to just lower things down a little bit. So let's go with something like this. Looks really good. Now, not to make this wide lens angle distorted view, we need to create an adjustment layer by pressing Option Command Y or Alt Control Y on Windows. And we need to search for an effect called Optics Compensation. And then if we customize the field of view and increase it, you'll see what happens. So we actually need to click on reverse and then just stretch it out a little bit. So let's just see what they have. And we have something very similar. As you can see, it's not straight. So if I disable the effect, this is what was before and this is after. Now I'm going to select all of this and pre-compose by pressing Shift Command C or Shift Control C on Windows. Next, we need to double click here on the rectangle tool, and it's going to create a rectangle the size of our composition. I recommend you setting not a white color, something like red will work perfectly fine, because we need to see the difference between the white background that we have and the red one that we have on the screen. Next, I'm going to apply an effect called Crop Edges. Everything that's in red, it means that there is an expression. We need to get rid of the expressions, otherwise it's just going to scale uniformly. If we want to customize the transition completion, it's not going to work because there's an expression. So we need to select our layer, click on EE 2 times to open the expressions. Let's just go ahead and delete the expressions. Just click there and click on delete. And now we need to customize and put everything to 0. And for this one, let's put this one to 50, then duplicate our layer, make sure this one is put to 0 and this one is put to 50. And we can set them in 2 different colors just so that it's a little bit easier for you to understand. Take the shape layer 1, put it to the top, and let's call it top, and this one bottom, just so that it's easier to understand. Let's select the 2, press on P and click on the keyframe button. This is going to be the transition that we are going to make with the shapes. And later we're going to track matte our Sidemen logo with our shapes. So this is going to be the final position when the transition is fully visible. And that's why I'm going to move the keyframes to second number 1. But then for the top one, so let's just drag it to the left until it goes out of the frame to something like minus 960. And then for the bottom one, let's just slide it to the right until it goes out of the frame. So it doesn't have to be precise, it can be a little bit imprecise, because if we take a look at the Sidemen transition, let's look at the beginning. So we have a bit more on the right happening and a bit less on the left. So the transition is not really perfect. So that's why we don't have to make it perfect. So this is what's going to happen by 1 second. Then we can select these keyframes, Command C, Command V, so that it stays in the same position here. And then just copy these keyframes, Command C, and paste them roughly here. So let's take a look. Perfect. I'm going to select all the keyframes and press on F9 to make it smooth. I'm going to open the graph editor, select all the keyframes, double click on one of the keyframes, and I'm just going to put influence to 70. Let's double click again and put the influence here to 70 as well, so that it's super smooth. So let's take a look. Now I'm also going to enable the motion blur so that we have a little bit of blur here. Now select the top and the bottom, press on Shift Command C or Shift Control C to pre-compose, and let's toggle the switches and track matte the bottom composition to the top one, because the bottom one is the Sidemen. This is transition. Let's track matte the Sidemen to the transition and take a look at what we have. Perfect. We do have a little bit of white stuff here, so I'm just going to open the transition, select the top one, press on P, and just move it a little bit to the left, and there you go, it disappears. So let's take a look again. We can customize the timing to however we want, so if we open the transition, we can just move it a little bit further away, and we're going to have a bigger pause in the middle. Now, how do we make a Premiere Pro template so that we don't have to remake this every single time? If I open Premiere Pro and I create a sequence, the first thing we can do is we can drag this After Effects file into Premiere Pro and then import a specific composition. This is composition number 1, so I'm just going to select comp number 1 and then drag and drop it here, keep the existing settings, and then there you go, this is going to be the composition. But we're not able to customize it, plus it's not very convenient, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete it, and we are going to create a Mogart. We're going to go to the essential graphics, and we need to make sure that we export comp number 1, and we will give it a name Sidemen text. Now, it's important to know that whatever you want to customize in Premiere Pro later, we have to drag into this field over here. So if I want to customize text, we need to open the Sidemen and open the Sidemen, open the text, and then drag the source text here. So that, let's say we want to change it to something like text. And if I change it right over here, it changes in our composition as well. So that's exactly what we need. Let's call this one title. Let's also open the transform and let's drag the scale here. So for example, if we want to decrease the scale or increase the scale of our text. And then for the composition number 1, let's see when our composition ends, the transition ends. So it ends right over here. So I'm just going to click on N and then click Shift Command X or Shift Control X to make sure that our composition is the size of the marker that we just put there. And now I'm just going to click on Export Motion Graphic Template, save it to the local templates folder, click on OK. I'm going to replace it because I've already created this type of transition before. Now we need to go to Premiere Pro, open our graphic templates. If you don't have it here, just go to Window and Graphic Templates, and this is the transition. I'm going to keep the existing settings. You can actually just click on it, press on enter, it's going to render it, and there you go, it's going to be super smooth. Now if you go into properties and select it, we can actually customize the scale right over here, and then we can customize the text so that we can change the text so that we can reuse it in the future to whatever we want. Another thing I recommend you do is to find the center of the transition, select the clip, press on M to create a marker so that you need to put this marker in the middle of the transition. And if, let's say, I'm just going to come here and draw something on the screen, and if I want to transition from this to this, all I have to do is just to drag this until we get to this point. It's going to stick to the marker, and let's take a look at what we have. Perfect. If you have any questions, be sure to drop them in the Q&A section below. Other than that, if you enjoyed this video, there's a good chance that you will like this video here, so go ahead and click on it.